Hello, this is Terry O'Mahony, and I'm here to help you with the All-State Marimba Etude. A couple of things to talk about before we get started. One, you want to try to play it on a marimba or a xylophone. If you don't have one of those, you might want to get in touch with your band director and ask if you can get some time reserved in the band room to actually make your video on that particular instrument. If you're playing a marimba, you definitely want to use some yarn-covered marimba mallets, or if you're playing on the xylophone, you could use some hard rubber or some acrylic mallets if you wish. The Etude is 15 measures long. It's in 2/4 time. There are no sharps and flats in the key signature, but there are some accidentals, so watch out for that. There is a PDF along with this video that shows you the stickings that I recommend you use for this particular Etude. R is for right, L is for left. If I put an R at the beginning of a passage, it assumes that you alternate all of the strokes after that unless told to do otherwise. There are a couple of places where you do have some doubled stickings where you do, for example, 2 rights in a row. One of those places is in measure 2 where you play a B to a G sharp with a double right. Same thing happens a couple bars later. So watch out for those doubled stickings. In terms of recommending different ways to practice, I would practice this Etude very slowly at first with a metronome, making sure all your notes are correct and all of your rhythms are correct. Okay, you may want to learn it in pieces, like a measure at a time, 1 measure, 2 measures, and then put them together, and then the 3rd measure, put the 3 measures together, etc. You can do it that way, but just continually running through it won't really help you learn it. You need to learn it sort of in a sequential fashion. I would use a metronome while I'm practicing. I'm going to play this very slowly a couple of times. The first time I'm going to play it, I'm not really going to worry about putting any dynamics in. I just want to get to the right notes and the right rhythms and make sure that my stickings are solid. Once I'm able to do that consistently, then I'll go back and I'll start to put in some dynamics and put in some musical shading. But first time I'll play it here is without any attempt to play any dynamics or accents. Now this is I've set the metronome for 72 beats a minute, so it's under the recommended tempo of 120 beats a minute. So realize that this is not the tempo you're shooting for. You're going to shoot for one much higher, but I want to play it slowly so that you get the melody in your ear and you're able to make sure that you're playing all the right musical elements. So this is the Etude at 72 beats a minute, but no accents or dynamics. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so there's the melody. It's kind of a nice little melody, pretty predictable. But ultimately you want to get to the point where you can play it and you can also put some dynamics in. So now I'm going to play the entire Etude with some dynamic shading. So I want to start at a reasonable mezzo forte level, get a little softer into measure 4, a little softer yet into the beginning of end of measure 6, beginning of measure 7. Then we have a big crescendo. We get to mezzo forte at measure 13, and then we have a bigger crescendo all the way to the end. All right, so here we go. One other thing. As you play the piece for the video, do not put the metronome on. Just use the metronome as a reference point, but do not use it during the recording of the metronome. So, recording of the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a reference point of about 72 beats, or whatever tempo I'm ultimately going to play it at. Then I'll play it without the metronome. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, good luck with your video.